Hello and welcome. This is Teresa and welcome to my channel. Tonight I'm going to do a craft with me, making or altering a box with beautiful papers. This was a request from one of the Facebook groups due to my participation in, let's see if I can remember the hashtag, June 2024 collab, and specifically the project is making an ephemera holder. So in answer to that, I made an ephemera box using the digitals from Line Dot Arrow and Nonstop Papercraft. In here is a trash bin that I made a long time ago. Whoops, I had trash in it. And this I made covering with fabric. So that's what's nice about this ephemera prep box, is what I call it, is that you can have everything that you need. I mean, you could tuck in a pair of scissors, you could tuck in some glue. This is a just on the fly fabric basket that I made for my ephemera prep box. And this one doesn't have stability and structure like the trash one does, because the trash one actually has a part of a Kleenex box in there. And then on the side I have some of the bigger items. Actually, these pockets would be better put in here, my little basket. And then these are things that are too big to fit in there. Actually, this one would fit okay. I'm always moving this around, and that is good, and I'll tell you why. Because when you play with your ephemera, you play with your materials, you play with your stash, it helps you to remember what you have and enables you to use it more easily. Some of this is just from some older kits, and I just love these, and I happened to see them when I was downloading the rest of it, so I grabbed it because I didn't want to forget it again. Some of this is scraps. This is a piece that is just too big to fit in my little basket. And then this, let's get this thing out of the way. This is my ephemera holder, which was much bigger. It was about that much bigger. And I cut it down because it wasn't working for me. So now I am super happy with this. I've got quite a bit of stuff in it. And I don't want to get too carried away with this. Tomorrow my vellum comes, so I'll be able to work with that. But this is my prepared ephemera. Or partially prepared. There's another frame behind here that needs vellum on it. But these are all backed. These are my little tiny pieces, ripped-roaring, ready to go. These are mostly words and letters, rip-roaring, ready to go. Yep, lots of stuff. So let's move on to the purpose of this video, and that is to make an altered box. I'm actually going to show you a couple things. Now, if you watch my videos, you will know something about me. And that is that I don't like to measure. I'm not a folio girl. I'm a fly by the seat of my pants. And I'm lazy. That sums it up. So we have an Amazon box here. It's pretty big, so it's going to be hard to get underneath the camera. But the first thing I need to do is making a lot of noise, ripping these off. Now you may have noticed when I was messing with this that this was trying to come up. I don't worry about that. That's too much work. And I could cut these off neatly. Ugh. But I'm trying to figure out what is the fastest way of doing this, and maybe cutting would be fastest. Hey, there's one. Kind of scary when I use one of these things on a live video, though. You never know when this is going to turn into a horror film with blood and gore. Especially with my tremors, huh? But, you know, I use this thing all the time off the camera, and rarely do you see band-aids on my fingers in my videos. I didn't say never, though. Never say never. Well, that went down a little bit, but that's okay. This is junk journaling. My idea of junk journaling is to not worry about perfection, especially when you're trying to go fast in a video. All right, we got those off. Put the dangerous tool away. Get those in the garbage bin. Now comes the pretty papers part. So I turned around, and behind me is my stackable bins where I have stackable totes that have doors on them. And I have like six or nine of these in one of the totes. And this is where I store my digitals. Whoops. I'm talking about this. This is what I'm kind of pointing to with my hand, and I was off camera. So this is where I store my digitals, but I had recently bought some more to store what I call ephemera and more. And that would be things like tissue and all kinds of things. But I'm trying to stay on track here. So I'm going to open this up. This one says Roxy and Medieval Mirage, but there's a lot more pretty stuff in here. So I chose this one because it's stuffed, and I'm just going to grab some papers. That's a pretty one. That's some pretty paper. That's pretty. They're all pretty, aren't they? So this making altered boxes is a great way to decrease your I don't want to say straps because these are full-size digitals. All right, let's start with that and see where that gets us. Now we're going to go back to the part of where I don't measure. Now I'm going to use, what am I going to use? I'm going to use Art Glitter Glue. And I'm going to use this bottle. Now sometimes I will use the less expensive glue, and I will put it in a Sugar Bell bottle. I don't think I have a Sugar Bell bottle right now, and I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, but that's like Paper Outpost. Pam, she uses those a lot. But I'm using this bottle because this bottle will flow pretty quickly, the nozzle. Whereas like this one and this one with the fine tips won't flow as quickly. And this is just basically my technique is throw a lot of glue on it and call it good. Now when I line my papers up, I'm not going to worry about horizontal versus vertical for one thing. So what I do is I line it up so that there's a little bit on the edge and a little bit on the edge. And I do not line it up in a way that, say, there was just going to be a little tiny bit right there. No. If it was like that, there ended up being just a little tiny bit there, then what I would do is I would bring the whole thing over and fold it over like that, so that I don't have to mess with a little tiny piece here that might come up if it doesn't have glue or it's had too much rough handling, whatever the case may be. So let's get started. All right, we're going to put a bunch of glue here. Whoops, we got to take the lid off first. Okay, there's your first tip. Take the lid off the glue before you start dispensing the glue. Art glitter is kind of an expensive glue for doing this kind of big coverage work, but it's just what I'm going to work with for now. I just want enough on the bottom so that it's going to stick. I don't know if I was crooked or not. I don't worry about that. These are altered boxes, and it's kind of like doing a master board. It's to lay paper down and have fun, basically. So now I'm going to take this and lay this way so that I can get good coverage of glue. I'm mostly concerned about the outside edges and the corners. Now I can bring this up from the middle. Probably should have gotten myself a wet wipe ready. Get that wet wipe. Oh, I gotta figure out something about the place where I'm holding my wet wipes, because every time I pull my wet wipes, I have it on my, aqua trolley in one of these things, and it fits really nice. But every time I pull it out, this isn't tight enough. Maybe I can find one that's tighter. Technical difficulties. Okay, this looks like this is setting down really good, and I am gonna end up going off camera a lot. I will try to catch myself. But I've seen other people do things with the measuring, and why? This is so much easier. So again, go down through the middle. Whoops. Where's my bone folder? And I don't even care if that gets messy right there. because looky there. That looks beautiful. Already, it looks beautiful. It's not difficult when you've got beautiful papers. So then I go over to the other big side and repeat those steps. You know, these boxes are somewhat dirty from being in an Amazon truck, you know, or sitting in my craft room getting dusty. These are pretty new. I saved them because I've been selling a lot of my Stampin' Up stuff. And for the local deliveries, I wanted some boxes to put the stamp sets and stuff in for my husband to be able to carry up easily. So the next person who gets a Stampin' Up delivery of stuff here locally, I list it all on Marketplace, and if they have enough stuff where it needs to go in a box, they're going to get a lovely box. How fun is that? No measuring. But those people who want to measure, that's fine. There's no rules with junk journaling. Teresa's not the know-all, be-all. Well, that's not what I tell my husband, but... Okay, now we do have that little dip right there. I'm just gonna line it all up like that. I'm not gonna worry about making it, you know, conform, wrap around, whatever word I want. And that looks really pretty. Okay, let's do the side. Yes, this will be very pretty for the side. So, to make this behave itself, I could cut it down so it will fit. I don't want to do that though. So we're going to take and put some glue here. Now I want you to think about when we do pockets with gussets. Okay, this is going to be a challenge. You're not going to see much right now because I'm putting the glue on this end. I'll try not to hit the camera. Okay, I ended up with some of that on the edge, which I said I wasn't going to do. But because I did, I'll show you how I deal with that. Now, I was talking about, like, when you make pockets and things like that. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to take the scissors. Let's see if I can get this on the camera. And I'm just going to cut straight down to that corner. And straight down to this corner. And I'm going to put a little glue right here. So I'm putting the littler pieces down first. And it's kind of like wrapping a gift. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that piece down. Actually, I'm going to trim it off just a little bit. Now, sometimes it will just go ahead and lay down, and that's a happy moment. Not necessarily a happy accident, but a happy moment. And then, you know, you just kind of work with your pieces, work with your areas. I'm not sure what I want to say there. Okay, I'm leaving the rest of that alone. We got this little piece right here. And now we're starting to collage our papers too at the same time, which is so much fun. Look how beautiful that is. It needs some more glue, and I will take care of that with the fine tip glue bottle. This is much shorter than I would have liked it to be. So let's see what happens when I put generous amount of glue here. And I'm going to end up getting glue on my fingers. But we're using art glitter. Another good reason for using the expensive glue, or let's just say not as cheap glue, because this art glitter, if it's going to hold, it'll hold. And it'll hold relatively quickly. The edge of the cardboard is getting in the way. We'll work on that more in just a little bit. Okay, now let's finish the other end. So let's see. I'm going to center that there, and then I will do what I did with the other. Yeah, okay, so let's put the glue on there. Sorry, I didn't really verbalize myself well there. And this is going to be somewhat difficult to show because this is tall here. All right. Lay that down like that. Get it pressed down. And then I'll work on, let's see, I'll go ahead and glue that down. Being generous with the glue. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to make that little snip and glue down this little piece. This side down. I'm being really conscientious of trying to put this into view, but it's a challenge. Gonna make a snip there, trying to line it up with that corner. And where you at? A snip there. If you like wrapping gifts at Christmas, you're gonna love this. Hi, Mama Juju Craftin on the back 40. Thank you. I love doing altered boxes. I think they always turn out pretty. They're my jam. This corner here, and you can even go like that to kind of see where you want to make your little snip to try and follow that corner. I think I did the other one. Yes, I did. Okay, so we'll get this one. If you're new to my channel, you might want to consider subscribing and hitting that bell, because you never know when I'm going to go live. I go live a lot. And I'm happy to chat when I'm crafting, when I'm live. Whoops, I got glue on my... I tell you what, though, it would be fun if YouTube had the opportunity to voice chat instead of, you know, texting, like, because especially for the person who, what is that right there? Don't like it. Especially for like the person like me who's trying to chat while crafting, I have to look up to see if anybody has written anything. So if we could voice chat, wouldn't that be cool? Because then you wouldn't have to worry about catching my attention. But I'm happy to do it this way too. I've been doing live chats for quite a while. In probably about the last, I don't know, 5 months, the chats have picked up a little bit to where, you know, there'll be new people like, Mama, this is the first time I've seen you here. And then people that I see all the time. Okay, so then I can take for these little, you know, fixer-uppers where the paper, you can see the paper sticking up. Then I can just take my fine point and seal it down. Now another thing that is fun to do in that case is, let me put my pen in here before I lose it. Is to take some washi tape and just take some washi tape and seal it with that. I'm going to put some glue on both ends before I anchor those down. Well, let me know if you ever need somebody to practice on. That's non-judgmental, Mama. What's your name, Mama? Because if you're younger than me and I'm calling you Mama, it's going to be kind of weird. Okay, so I'm just throwing, you know, this isn't going to be very cohesive because I'm doing a fast video because I was inspired. Now, let's talk about this here. This is not going to be very, this right here is not going to be very sturdy. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take another piece of paper. I think this will be long enough. Ah. Okay, Juju or April? Great. Yes, I am older than you. I am 63. So, I'm at least old enough to have babysat you when you were a kid. And for those of you who are just watching and like, you know, watching the video later on and going, what in the heck is she talking about? The chat is open. I am talking with April with Mama Juju Crafting on the back 40. And as you're watching the video, if you look over to the right side, this is later on, of course, you will be able to see the chat and the things that are said. Okay, so I can take this piece. Oh, and look at that. Man, it's a perfect size. So I'm just gonna fold this in half. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that. You know, another thing you can do, like I said, this is gonna be random and weird in that respect, is if you really want to have some fun and you're an inker, you can ink these individual pieces before you put them down. By golly, you could do whatever you wanted. You could take these pieces and you could sew them before you glued them down. You know, there are those of us who just throw a journal together, like me. And then there are those who like designer team for, say, Sam Pohl, that have been doing the most elegant journals with that garden kit that she has. I don't remember exactly what it's called, even though I just watched one of the videos recently. But I have what I call a 5-second memory. So, we were successful tonight in that I didn't turn this into a horror film and cut myself because of my trimmers. That's good. That's progress. So I'm going to put this like this. And then we can just see how that looks with inked. It's kind of cool, isn't it? That's cool, April. April said that she's an inker. So this is a big piece, so I'm just going to go ahead and save time and use the bottle that flows the fastest. Where are we at? Speaking of where we're at, I'm actually in Caldwell, Idaho. I'm living the full-time RV life. So we have a fifth wheel toy hauler. And as of last year, we started doing the snow bunny thing. And we spent the winter in Yuma, Arizona. This coming cold season, we're going to, okay, so I forgot about this side needing some TLC. So I'm going to take care of that with some washi tape. Remember, I don't like to measure or any of that stuff. Mississippi, very cool. And when your title says on the back 40, it makes me think that you might be a homesteader, April. Or do you just have a ranch or something like that? Can you see me? I'm putting washi tape on this. Okay. I think that's good enough length. And if you see me shaking like a leaf while I try to cut this washi tape, that's my trimmers. It's called familiar trimmers because it's passed down through genetics in the family. My grandmother was an oil painter, and she was able to hold her, she was of course right-handed, and she was able to hold her right hand with her left hand, which is curious to me. I was too young to explore it more. I got a little loose piece here, and you just, you know, I really don't care because that's on the bottom, but you can just, you know, repair little things. Just out in the country, very good. Oh, fields and gravel roads, that sounds lovely. I've always pretty much lived out in rural areas and until I became an adult, and still I've lived in a lot of rural, I have a hard time saying that word, areas. Okay, so then what you can do is now, I grabbed out that many papers. I've got one more paper right here that I can use to embellish, but this isn't really tripping my trigger. Let's just do a little bit of it. Just a little collage with a little inking. Now we've got one more person here with April and I. And April, do you think we can get that person to say hi to us? Whoa. I'm just going to do that to hide that seam right there. Or reinforce it. Now, I'm going to put the lid on this before this dries out. And I'm going to put the pin back in here before I totally lose the pin, which may have happened already. Or I just saw it a minute. Oh, there it is. We need some more papers. I don't know if I mentioned it, but these papers are from Roxy Creations. This is the Italian Ladies document style. Let's see. Document style Italian emblems kit 4. Ooh, this will be pretty on here, and it's already inked. Now, you may or may not care about what the inside of your box looks like, but for the purpose of this video, I just want to show how easy it is to cover it up without measuring. Yep, that'll work just fine. So, again, I'm going to throw a ton of glue on here. This is a wonderful background page, one of my favorite, and I put the lid back on and I forgot. That's why the glue wasn't coming out. I forgot my tip. Take the lid off of the glue. There's a lot of glue on there. Oh my gosh, I've already been here for 42 minutes. Time goes by fast when you're having fun. So you just manhandle this thing in here. My husband's giving me a dirty look because the trailer's moving, because I'm roughhousing this box. He's like, what in the world are you doing back there? Because I'm in the garage of the trailer. This is a toy hauler. So when we're not traveling, this is my space. When we're traveling, this is the motorcycle space. And the room between the garage and the living area where he's at has a glass sliding door. So he can see me. I think he can hear me too. If I'm louder, he can at least. When I talk normal voice, probably not. Alright, so now we've got these bare areas here. So let's just do this fast, because we're all about fast. Yep, we can fit that down. Okay, so do I want to just... Yeah, I do. I do. That would look cool. No, I don't. Think. All right, I do. So I'm going to ink, because I want to ink. I got to tell you, I tried for the first time what Pam with the Paper Outpost does. I was really afraid to do it because these Tim Holtz ink pads aren't cheap. And I've only started using them probably, I don't think I've been using them for a year yet, because I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator and I was just going to use my Stampin' Up ink pads, and then I succumbed to these oxide pads because I feel like they put more ink on. But I did the water thing like Pam does with from the Paper Outpost. It's really kind of cool. Oh, there I go. The lid's still on. I'm not used to putting the lid back on right away. But for this one, I didn't want the glue to stop up, because I don't usually use this bottle. I use the little fine tip one, usually. Okay, so we're going to put this in there. move that over. Burnish that down. And look how pretty that is. It's already pretty because of the paper, but with that inking, now if you're not an inker, you're probably not going to like it, but I think it's pretty. And I do both, inking and not inking. That's a pretty background. Did I take the lid off? No, I didn't. I mean, look at me using these beautiful papers that have probably been put away for a few months. And now I've brought, oh, I didn't fold it first. Darn. Okay, I'm going to go off camera because I got wet glue and it's biting me. Yep, I went, oh, and I forgot the ink. Okay, so before I finish sealing this down, I could rescue this. Get on camera here. I forgot to ink this. Got glue all over my fingers. Okay, did I put my lid back on? No. Where'd my lid go? I did put it on. Okay, now another fun thing about this, of course you can take your glue and you can baby this some more. I would, but not for the purpose of this video. I'm going to leave it go. So then you can take your ink and you can have some more fun with inking on the top. That looked very pretty. Now I do this to little boxes and big boxes. I have boxes in my well, shoot, I'll be taking pictures of this. Makes it easier to see, but I'm not going to do these two ends because we're already at 50 minutes. And I wanted to show you. So I showed you my ephemera prep box. Okay. And this is a box that I did quite a while ago. This is my semblance of the what's in your box. So this one has some papers from Shabby Dabby Doodah, from a kid's storybook. I think I got this from like an encyclopedia or a dictionary. Some vintage hymnal paper. pages. This is just a scrap from Create with Scrimping Mommy. Another scrap from Create with Scrimping Mommy. And I didn't do the back. This is from one of those priority boxes. I didn't do the back because the back doesn't show where I have it. Then just some more. I don't know where that came from. But I love this box. And it just looks good on my shelf. I think it does. Now, I did want to show one more thing. Well, actually 2 more things real quick. So then you can take your ephemera and looky there. You can't see. Just, you know, if you didn't want to do all of that, you could do this. Oh, that looks cool. Okay, and this is already inked up. So I'm going to throw some glue down. But yeah, then you can put your tickets and your little pieces of ephemera, your snippets, all those fun things that are just come and just go to town. Have fun. Okay, who's laughing at me because I keep trying to use my glue without taking the lid off? I don't mind. Okay, that's done. Now, the one last thing I wanted to show you is you can take a tin like this, you know, or a box like this, and you can turn it upside down. And these are my vintage fabrics, so I don't use these for this sort of thing much, but it's fabric, so I'm going to show you. I'm not going to do it, though, because I'm not going to use my vintage fabric on this. So what you do is you take material and you turn it wrong side out, like this. Let me think. Yeah. And then you take some more material and then you glue that on there. So I know my lid's on my glue, so you lay your glue down, like you might lay glue down there, there, and there, and then you do that and you keep doing that to build a box or a basket. So I did that one with that cardboard box and left the cardboard box inside. I did the other one with a box and just used the box as a shape. And you can do so much with this. And I will try to remember to pick this up and do a fabric basket or box with these like this. I am not an expert. I'm not an expert at altering boxes, but I do know how to have fun, and so you might enjoy seeing how I did something like this. It wasn't intended to be something fancy. I think did I sew this? No, I didn't sew this. I don't think I did. I feel like I did sew one. I feel like there should be a third one around here somewhere, but it's escaping me as to where it might be. So anyways, that's what I've got for you tonight. We're at 56 minutes, so I'm going to call this a wrap, and we will see you again in the next video, hopefully. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I would be so appreciative. And be sure to hit the bell if you subscribe, because that way you can be more likely to catch me, because most of my videos are live, and if you want to chat, we can chat. So, and then please hit the like button for sure, and chat with me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Goodbye.